당은 가서 하여튼 뭐 상주 줌된 얘기 아니 지게 냠내 제 아니 제바제 아니 냠내제 나 거기 동화되게 가는 스방고 그래 아니 동화 방에라 탑이 냠내 가는 제고도 선제 되네게 제바제 차상 아니 가는 제고 차상 시시에 아니 상주 줌된 얘기 냠내나 냠시나 아니 뭐 주바 가오모 보지네 되네 상주 고방토 되네 상주 고방토네 장아서 심제 탐제 동화세야다 디기 주에게 탑람 냠렌지 당이 림바 바도 메바 송오데스 안디네 인자 안디네기 텐테게 남샤 송샤게데 베마시게 송샤게데다 디네기 템바 라나메바다 안지게 아주 캠비 윤된 라나메바레스 제가 디네 인자 산 제르미치기 아니 산이 점는 될이야 아니 텐데 디네기 송바 야고 쇼레샤 선에 디네야 두 되고 부이제 아니
Good morning. So yesterday we continued to look at the praise for dependent arising. In the verse we looked at yesterday afternoon, we saw that the being that was to become Buddha Shakyamuni, he engaged in extensive analytical meditation, in searching for what the root causes of suffering are, and the root causes that keep beings bound within the suffering states of samsara. And having come to realize that, through continued analysis, he investigated what are the solutions or the antidotes to our states of suffering. And through further training, he cultivated, strengthened those antidotes within his own continuum. And he trained like this for countless lifetimes, for eon after eon, all so that he could strengthen his virtuous qualities and eliminate his non-virtuous qualities in order to become a Buddha, to arise as a perfected being. And then, when he completed this journey, when he completed his path, and he attained the state of perfection, he then, motivated by love and compassion, conjoined with his omniscient wisdom, he gave innumerable teachings to beings in accordance with their own individual personalities, and thereby guided beings in terms of guiding them in recognizing the suffering's reality of samsara, what its causes are, and what the solution is. And moreover, guided them in the cultivation of these minds of virtue, in guiding them to their own liberation. And Geshe Rinpoche, the author of our text, he came to see this through his own experience of dependence arising, and therefore he composed this text, praising Buddha Shakyamuni for having taught dependence arising. I bow down to the unsurpassable teacher, whose supreme omniscience realized and taught the conquering dependent arising.
dunro sui ne ngāzu dewa di kuhu ore, dunga di kuhu yo ma res. Chizan, di mowa zang ngāzu dewa di zhu kuhu ore, ngāzu dewa kuhu yo zang dewa di zhu kuhu ore. Chizan, dewa zhu ya dang, dunga se kuhu ore. Chizan, dunga se dang dewa zhu ya la, yu dang kien ji le dui ne, deki zhu kuhu ma do, yu dang kien la ma dui ba, deki zhu ya yo ma res. Chizan dunga se digen gyudan kien chi le dui ne, dunga de se ore ma do, gyudan kien la ma dui ba dunga se chi yo ma re se sung ro. Chizan dine zang gyudan deki se dan gyudan kien chi le dui ne chung go dian jing zhawa dian yung re. Dunga se de gyudan kien chi le dui ne yung go re. Chizan dunga se de gyudan kien chi le dui ne se go go re se chi. Andu sung ro.
And moreover, it was again mentioned that all of us here, all beings throughout the world, whether human or animal or any kind of being, we are the same in desiring happiness. And moreover, the happiness we desire is a lasting, stable happiness, in that none of us wants to experience even a moment of pain or difficulty. And this is the same for all beings. And then through the presentation of dependent arising, we looked at that happiness only is achieved in dependence on causes and conditions. Happiness is not achieved through its own nature. It only comes about through accumulating the appropriate and causes completely. And similarly, all unwanted situations, all suffering situations, these two don't just come about, these come about also only in dependence on causes and conditions. So this one needs to gain great clarity on. When one gains certainty of this, then one will strive to accumulate the causes that lead to happiness, and one will ensure that one does not accumulate the causes that lead to suffering.
Lada mi tobiagi luidin tubiagi güdele karasa orasin sedelia lunga yusum yokoni yeje domje anji surum soyederes surum songsyade ni lunga yusum yokoni shala nebe chawa sawajin jigme sembe samlodi anju surum sigires jezan di samlode kaze yane yano komji di kyacher shu nuba char tawaina denede anju kewa chima lada mi luidin tobigi güchagores ane zada Denigi kewa chimete milu tendelea and tunjenda ganga machaba dine yagoyala mazu tsedele jimbe nyamne da shanliangi lunga yusmugane shanla pemba dugin dongin sambege samlodi yane no gombores di jimbe nyamne des ane kewa chima an tunje yagi gyudi dires da na zo keba chiwala ombo changwa da ane mi ne siji jen yoya anga tsetele sube nyamne che gores chesada sube nyamne sida dashi hangi nyoba chebal ya pa len lo je sim chu ji shen li pa nyoba ji me ya je pa len lo me sambe samno da de sube nyamne che chesada deni yanza da nga zugi ni gewe chawa shen le pembi jube chawa da shen gi dunga se chawa ro chue nyamne chera be yakbore sande yane adunge gidi nadi jigin sempige an samlo tangore di zunru sigri esti deni gi kin inza kewa chimaine anga jogi shalia jamje chea da an chue nyamne chea ko abra tures an de ga le yang zo an kewa chima jik deni gi kewa saba deni kewa chima milu yago tobar sho sa da an chue nyamne chea da an ko yago ra sho sa molam ja da ndus ja gores chesan deni chewe na ga kewa chima la da mi ko ba thoya tendelia an ji jamje nyamlen je ya an dunga se da digi juye gi nyamlen je ko yago ra gores chesan ndi nga zo gi nga zo ya ne ya nyamlen je di se khasan di nga zo ji shuru da.
And furthermore, yesterday, in the context of looking at dependence arising, we spoke about that in order to accumulate the causes for happiness and to eliminate previously or purify previously accumulated causes that only lead to suffering, one needs a suitable basis to be able to do so, because not all beings have the capacity to be able to engage in spiritual development. So the very best of bases is that of a human or of a god. So we have achieved a rebirth as a human in this life, and this has come about not causelessly, it didn't just happen, but it came about in dependence on causes and conditions that we ourselves accumulated in previous lifetimes. And to ensure that in our future lifetimes we continue to have a good rebirth such as we have now, that will only come about in dependence on us accumulating now those required causes and conditions. So the causes that we accumulated in the past need to be accumulated again, so that life after life we continue to have a basis such as this that is suitable to further our spiritual development. And the primary cause that leads to a rebirth in a happy migration as a human or a god is that of ethical conduct. And so the practice of ethics is developing an ethical outlook, an ethical attitude. So in meditation, we need to develop this mind of restraint And this mind of restraint is what is meant by ethics or ethical conduct. And the stronger we cultivate this in meditation, the more powerful this mind becomes within us, more pervasive it becomes within us, the stronger the causes we create for good rebirths in our future lives. Because it's through developing this mind of restraint that we don't, that not only is our mind restrained, but so too are our physical activities and our resulting verbal activities. So this is the primary cause that leads to a good rebirth. But to ensure that our rebirth is not only in a good realm, such as being a human, but that we have the other required circumstances so that we can wholeheartedly engage in spiritual development, we also need to create further conditions or causes in addition to cultivating an ethical outlook. So secondly, then, the second cause to cultivate is that of generosity. So generosity is a mind, and a mind of wanting to give, a mind wanting to be of help to others, of service to others, of benefit to others. So this practice of generosity, again, is developing an outlook, developing a mind. And this has the result, this is a cause that leads to a result of having favorable circumstances, whether material and otherwise, so that one can continue unhindered one's spiritual development. So here the practice of generosity is to develop an outlook of wanting to be of benefit to others, to aid others in accordance with our capacity, whether materially or through helping with our skills and our other qualities. Then the third cause to be cultivated is to cultivate the practice of patience, the mind of patience. So the practice of patience is developing a meditation and an outlook that remains undisturbed in the face of adversity. So the practice of patience is either in relation to having an undisturbed mind when others are giving us a hard time, or when, due to our own inner turmoil, our mind stays undisturbed, naturally peaceful, loving, compassionate, and wise. So this mind of patience, we also need to cultivate in meditation, and in dependence on this cause, the result of having complete sense faculties such as sight and hearing comes about, as well as easily to be able to abide in harmony with others, to easily get on with others. So these are the results that follow from when come about in dependence on the cause of patience. And the fourth cause is that of joyous perseverance, the mind that takes delight in engaging in virtue. So this is a mind that delights about all the virtuous activities we are engaging in, such as meditation practice and being of benefit to others, as well as wanting to continue to accumulate such causes, wanting to achieve those results so that we can be of ever greater benefit to others. And in dependence on developing the mind of joyous perseverance, in our future lives, we'll be naturally inclined towards virtue, we'll naturally want to seek out the Dharma, we'll naturally want to spiritually progress. So this mind of joyous perseverance, this leads to our virtue being accumulated in a very vast manner, and our outlook, our way of thinking, being naturally inclined to virtue. So these are the four causes that are required in order to achieve good rebirths in our future lives. Not just a rebirth as a human, but also with all required conditions. And then fifthly, these need to be accompanied by prayer or by dedication of virtue. And here we make prayers that in all future rebirths, may we only attain rebirths that are conducive to rapid spiritual progression. May we be born as a human or a god, may we meet the Dharma, seek out the Dharma, and spend our lives engaged in cultivating good qualities within ourselves, so that we can be of ever greater benefit to suffering beings.
Pemasiki Yahochagova, Karsane, Sosugi, Lunga Yusumugane, Shala, Neva Chigi, Neva Chigme, Sempe, some Dinis down do, and then Tuki, Magukone, Shala, Tsushi Mare, and then Kohata had a Junshi, and Lujukan, Kumako, Yala Sobata, and the Denis Humari, Mevanza, Denigi Majabana, Sosuline, Diki Hungre, Shalina, Gamati Marwa. And Sosugi, Lujukan, Jimbe, Yamlen Cheodu, and Sosugi, Lunga Yisumugone, Shala, Pempacate, Jigin, Sempe, some of the and the Denigi Sosorangi, Chicken Duba Yudical, Cashel Cabrilla, and Miko, the Benju, Tony Robochea, and Cashelia, and Chimenju, Tony Robochea, and the Cashea, Jixi, Tony, Sosu Lobjon de Gepa, Lapche, Shanle, Pembertuya, and the Sosugi Lujicone, Lagale, Shanle, Pembertuya, and those in the Shanle, Pembertuya, Denicheva, and then Mishandadiki in a Chikuma Sea, Ganga Sea, the Tiki, and Shanla Tiki, and Mishandagi in all the Mitiki, Manzolia, Robert Chesson, Pando, what you could miss Semba Sambo, Yabutu said, me denegate to Chiki Shea, also in Galamachi, or Dangi Lagache, Pandoshan, Beachushas, and be so Bovakiada, Denicheva, Chesa Denise, and Denedu Shedi, and Chasa, Tumbuta, Yabu Yungo, the Deneza, Chimbi Yamle, Chudrin Yamle Japan, Setele in the Chica. Russian Nigala, Digitubiada, Pantochimbu,
So those practices, those 4 practices, the cultivation of those minds in meditation, lead to the ripening results of future good rebirths. But the impact of those meditations and the results of those meditations aren't only experienced in future lives. Through transforming our way of thinking, through transforming our way of interacting with others and dealing with life's events, we experience tremendous benefit right now in this very life. So cultivating, for example, the attitude of an ethical attitude, a mind of restraint, a commitment not to bring harm to others, this strong wish inside of ourselves not to add to the burden of suffering and pain that others experience. Having such an outlook, then no matter what one encounters, one will not speak to others, for example, in a harmful manner. One will not speak to others in an abusive manner. Similarly, in our physical behavior, this will be gentle, this will be restrained. We will ensure that our physical behavior does not bring any harm or add to others' difficulty. So through cultivating an ethical outlook, developing this mind, our mind immediately becomes more subdued, more gentle, softer, and our behavior follows as well. So this means we ourselves are more peaceful, and the impact that we have on others is also one of peace and one of gentleness. An accompanying meditation, that of generosity, the wish to give to others, the wish to be of benefit, to help others. As this mind grows within us, the wish to aid others, to alleviate their suffering, grows ever stronger. And then, with such an outlook, our minds again becomes more spacious, more gentle, calmer. And where we have capacity, we will help others. We will alleviate the burden of suffering that often overwhelms others. And this can be acted out on through, for example, helping those who are impoverished, helping those who are in need in other ways. So we can practice material generosity, one will willingly want to, but moreover one will also want to help others through one's way of speaking. One's way of speaking will always be directed to bringing benefit to others, to alleviating suffering of others. And in this way we practice generosity, helping others through giving advice, for example. And then also whatever other skills and abilities one has, one will use these to help others, to help others in difficulty. So through developing these minds of ethics and generosity, the result is we become more gentle, our mind becomes more spacious and calm, and to others we form closer relationships through bringing benefit into their lives and not adding to the current burden of difficulty. And this leads to also a great sense of inner confidence within oneself, as we see through our own endeavors. We are changing our outlook. we are dealing with life's difficulties and problems so much better, so much more skillfully than we were before. And this is coming about not magically, not causelessly, but independence on our own meditations, independence on our own endeavors. Now we can look at something new, so we can look at the second verse. Whatever problems there are in the world have ignorance as their root. You taught dependent arising, the seeing of which refutes ignorance.
Digi Garusung Gore Sene, Azulia, Niela, Azuga, Ganga Digilia, Azumotrici Gore, Ganga Dingore, says Ganga Diganzu, Ganga Digipa, Motrici. Then Motrici, Ganga Diduas, then origin that Ganga Digu, Canis Yungores, Guding Musinci, you didn't tell Yungores, Guding Musinci. That is that Ganga di Celia, and Canis Orelana. Ganga di Gudi Meba Sego, Gudi Segore. Chidan Gudi Sela, Tapshi Canis sometimes Segorelana, or Gom Tapshi Denis sometimes Segore Sadi, in order to Sumor. That they dig that the Ganga Gidi was Ganga Denit and the Umur says Ganga di Pahas Mursum. Ganga Gudi Denit and the Yungre says share. That is a Gudi Ma Meba Suala, Ganga Sela, Gudi Meba Sugo, Gudi Meba Suvala, some Denis Tanjo, come Denis capture, on those Chene, Yamlenchi Meba Sokore said, on those Shigore. Chesada, Ganga Gudi Meba Sudu, Ganga de Sena, Ganga Sena, Digiroa. Chesa Ganga de Meba Sasun Digile, Ganga Dosho Digire, Digi Dosho the Ganga, Chesa Ganga for Meba Sudu, Rajuko Digile, Chesa Digi to be Digi to Yongores. Digor my Di Teshaka or Tadinem.
Here, to understand this verse, we in the context of dependent arising, we look at a stream of results that come about independence on particular causes. But first of all, we need to understand what is meant by suffering briefly and happiness. So happiness is a state of peace, a mind that is undisturbed, calm, spacious, and gentle. This is happiness. Whenever that is disturbed, we are suffering. So the first step here is to come to understand with great clarity what is meant by suffering, not just in the coarse, obvious manner that all beings, whether humans or animals, understand, but the suffering, the subtler levels of mental disturbance that is meant by suffering. Independence on understanding what is meant by suffering and having come to see how it pervades our experience, then independent on that understanding, we will naturally think, what is the cause of this suffering? So independence on coming to understand how suffering pervades the experience of ordinary beings, we'll independence on that, we'll want to know what the cause of our suffering is. Then independence on having come to investigate and see with certainty what the cause of our suffering is, then in dependence on that, and naturally the wish will arise, I want to eliminate that cause, I want to destroy the cause of suffering, so that I no longer have to ever experience suffering again, but my mind can be continuously in a state of peace, a state undisturbed by any suffering at all. And then, having given rise now, in dependence on that investigation, to the wish to eliminate the cause of our suffering, we'll seek out what is the method, how to do so. And in dependence on coming to know, to understand with clarity the method to eliminate the cause of our suffering, we will naturally be inclined to want to apply this in meditation, to cultivate this mind in meditation repeatedly over a sustained period. So here there's a stream of dependency, that in dependence on coming to understand suffering and how it pervades our experience, we will seek out, we want to understand what the cause of that is. In dependence on that, we'll want to understand how that can be eliminated, and in dependence on that, we'll strive to do so.
Andina de Bena Dirwa, Nazara, Shirwada, Chisubulia, Maru Charge, Nazi Tumbene, members of Rodi, Tao member Tigi, Nazedi, Chitagirwa, Chisa Nazedi Machago, Nazi Dajin, and then the Nigi Dajin, Nazi Dambo, Nazi Gargardu set Pata. Chisada, the Nigi Nazi Tong Sadu, Dine. Nazi Young Gudi Karachin Yungu, you can sit in Yungu Simbi, Nazi Gudi, Chevachigorwa, Chesa Nazi Gudi Chevachine, and then maybe Gudi, Nazi Gudi, how go do Nazi Gudi Mentangorwa, Chesa Nazi Gudi Mentang, Nazi Gudi Mevacha, didn't now log and Nazi Gudi Mentanji Mevacha, didn't Chilo, Sugumadi, legally and Jarugorwa, Chesamadi Jas on the dinner, Tango Chas on Den Sugu de Chagorwa, Chin Pedina, she said, Dunga Yoya, Dunga de Geta, Ganga de Gay, Wilson, Tinekan was on the Ganga Gudi Cheva, say Sejata, then Gudi Hagward, Gudi, Yampo, Gudi Mevas, to Chidan Digituya, that Dunga say, Digituya, the Membiki, Tashet and the Chipo Chigan of Chagore.
This process that has just been described is not something that is unique to the Buddha Dharma, but we have experience of it in the world as well. So, for example, in dependence on feeling unwell, we go to a doctor. And then we go to the doctor, and in dependence on us being there, he will ask us a number of questions. And through this process, possibly with other analysis, we'll come to identify our illness. And in dependence on prior analysis by researchers and scientists, we'll be able to identify the cause of our illness. In dependence on the doctor analyzing or identifying the cause of our illness, medication will be prescribed. In dependence on the doctor's prescription and our trust in the doctor, we will follow their advice, and we will take that medication, perhaps change our lifestyle, whatever is advised, and we will follow that advice. In dependence on doing so, a result follows, and that is we heal and we're happy again. So this relationship of dependency, from a cause comes a result, and then that result becomes a cause for a further result. This is something we experience, we have a lot of experience of in our daily lives too.
Nazuya Gudi Yakwaha Moana, Tine, Chigime, or the Digi Dami or some bit, Chictia, di Damas and between men Dama, and Nazu to any Ior, which is the Nigi Chignazigi, Gudi Yakwaha Moache, and the men Dama, then Nazu to Iore. Tis a dinner Nazuya Sebu Yakwaha, Delia meant the Tata Nazita to go. Dinazing as the Dunga Gudi Yabaha Mogona, and you get added Jigdunga Kanga Dijin, Jixay or some J, and the Chantonada, Siemens Hada, Denijin, and Dijig do to go, Dine Kanga Gudi Yabaha Mogoa, Gudi Hamode, and the Gudi set up the Yabo machine. The machine do an addition that Kanga cigarettes and big Ravara capture. Dine Changmangotoyada, Dine Siemens Hayada, Dine Jin Kanga Durjumado Yato Hayomara, Bedinajeda.
In this illustration with this chain of dependency, that independence on coming to understand a cause, then a result follows, and that result then becomes a cause for a further result. There are some steps which are particularly important, and one of them is to identify with great certainty the cause. Because if the doctor misdiagnoses the patient, the doctor is likely then to prescribe medication that is not appropriate, that is not suitable to heal the patient. And then, in dependence on this misdiagnosis, then a not beneficial prescription is given. And in dependence on following that prescription, the patient may even get iller. Their situation may worsen. Or if the doctor is not particularly skilled and gives very strange advice and says, "Oh, your illness, what to do about this? Maybe just go home and have a few more drinks, maybe smoke some cigarettes, or even take drugs." Well, that advice is certainly not going to help, but it's just going to make things much worse. So it's crucial that the cause is clearly identified. In independence on the correct diagnosis, then the prescription is likely to have benefits.
Jidin Guba, Jineba, Sedutanzo, Zambuling Delia, Antique Ganga, Pardomeva Chiores or Tajidin, Sedu Zambuling Delia, Guba Lede, and the Korigi Yemik, Pene, Luke Naza, Antique, Semki Dunga, and the Jigge Dam and Jig Pentu, Marro Yada, Trubo Yada, and Jikuma, Gangatea, the next Sosuke, Lu Nazatan Gangatea, and the same Makivaja Gangatea, Jigi Jiglia, and the Tutsi Diana, Jigi Pendun, Jigi Sayada, Jigi Suri Diana, the Nechinanga Jig Ganga, and the Neba, Nyamta, Meganalia, Neba Chetu, Menji, Yawaji Motuada, the Kashele, Jig Benjo Tone Mada, Sayatuyada, the Neg Tone Mada Ganga, Kajelia, and Jiginum Shudo Tone Ganga, just the Zamilitelia Bang, and Ganga, Meva Jungo Regerida.
So looking now at the first line, whatever problems there are in the world. So this first line then we use as a basis for the first step of meditation. We need to gain clear understanding about suffering. We need to understand the suffering states of cyclic existence. So the easiest way to start with this is to observe on the basis of our own personal experience and also what we observe in this world. So from the world we can see in our communities people who are experiencing tremendous difficulties through watching the news or reading about the news. We can see tremendous difficulties that beings are experiencing throughout the world. We probably none of us have direct experience of living in a place of warfare, but there are many beings who are living in grave danger and with that tremendous fear and suffering of living in a war zone or being even a participant in such violence. There are also many beings who are suffering directly from illness or their loved ones are suffering from illness. And perhaps they're living in a developed country and they have access to excellent health care, but still they have the tremendous fear of death or disability. And there are others in this world who are suffering with similar diseases, but either they are too impoverished to access such health care, or in their countries, health care that can treat them just is not available. And furthermore, we can reflect about the various mental sufferings that people experience, whether it's depression or just merely unhappiness, whatever degree on that scale. There's so much anxiety and unhappiness on the mental level as well. And then furthermore, we can observe through what's happening in terms of climate change, the tremendous difficulties that people are experiencing through their homes and their livelihoods being destroyed overnight. So we can reflecting in this way, we can see the very manifest and apparent sufferings that humans are experiencing. And if you think about the situation of animals, their situation is certainly no better. They lack the capacity, the mental capacity to be able to adequately solve whatever problems they have. And all animals live under constant fear of the potential of being apprehended by a predator and eaten alive by a predator. And this and other sufferings animals experience as well. Also in terms of the bushfires that we see in this country, many beings are dying awful deaths in those situations. So the first line refers to the need to come to understand the varieties of sufferings that it pervade our experience in the world. So all these sufferings that we observe, whether they are on the very coarse level like in these illustrations or on subtler levels, none of them just come about. Every single one of them comes about in dependence on causes and conditions. Every single one. When we gain certainty of that, then naturally in dependence on that certainty, the wish arises to know what is the cause of all the suffering.
Deda leda nyomo basachi ngazuli nyomo ki nyomo de ti ongi da jawa jine lesa denegi jine kanga trebu mingo re chesa zawi ngazugi da kien gyuge mangbo yebe na zoru karesin leda nyomo bale ligo re sachi.
And in terms of most of these situations, we can identify the causes that these problems come from. But if we go to a deeper level, a level beyond what one can just observe directly, the primary cause for all the suffering situations that beings experience is contaminated karma that has been accumulated by afflicted minds or destructive emotions.
Dene chige diso nyomo rik dene mangbo ro diso nyomo ba diso re chisa dene gi nyomo ba dene gi de cha dang kong ro ge du kong ro shu chi mo ge du di wang ge an xian so jue ba dan xian gi ni gang a zhe ya da ne ba ge la so ba yong ro ba cha ba ge de cha ba di wang ge ne xian gi zhe la gu mo gu a da xian gi sem jian so jue che ba xian gu ro dang la so ba dene rik zha ma re ngo re chisa diso le dene gang a li go re chisa dene gi nyomo ba se aje leda dene gi nyomo ba de gi ge o de su gi ton de ja wa ra le che dene le sa dene gi ton na ga zo ga ma je bu di du ma yong a de di ni ngo re che le wa.
The primary cause of all suffering is contaminated karma and afflicted minds. So what are these afflicted minds? Well, there are a vast variety, but some that we would be most familiar with would be minds such as anger, minds such as attachment, minds such as ignorance, minds such as pride, as jealousy, and so forth. And we have experience of the impact of these minds because it's through the minds, the dominance of these minds, that beings engage in activities that explicitly bring harm. When someone's angry and acts out on this anger, they speak to others in an unhelpful way. They speak to others in a harsh and an abusive way. And if they physically act under the influence of anger, they may even kill others. And under the mind of attachment, when this mind of attachment is strong, then people take advantage of others. To ensure that they get what they desire, they will use others, they will abuse others, they will even steal from others. So these are illustrations that are easy to understand about how our afflicted minds, these bring harm.
Nyomo bale digi nyomo be on the some ne digi nyomo be nga so contract ke du contract onge bene tang de jike girap pentule ina jiglia girap jigi pajodelia contract de pale pajole nebe samba ke du denigi neba samlo da contract da pajole nebe samba de ke du samba diga je shuk che ro na samba di shukin thone ane chonje ri panigi konto toria da jomya tola ya chonje ri da marasu di thone ane jike ma gerje ane pajolia jik kangpa toria da milya ane soya la soba da denigi jene ane kama ujile ngurwa denigi zegi ri jike 수액 추식의 제릭 수액의 제기에다 지게 두텐디기 아니 지 류리아 지 나자망고리아다 나자망고지 되니 마마께나 디 제기 디 견진하는 것에 한줄이야 지 미당 셈제야 내 나자망고지 리고래 대술리에 이게 자위 규디 갈아서 군노들이야 공도계 현래 뇌에 삼바께 받고 Nube Sambaji, Sambadi Wang, Shucher, Kondo Di Wangi, Dijine, Benny, Nuake, Jaladi, Beju Drup. Then a Beju Drup San, then a Maja, also Lalenta, then a Nushi Maja, then a Tona Ganga, that's Mada, Jingolo, Japje Maja, La Sobada, then a Mijigim. 全些团的就冇得打不碎啊，当免得夹着咪冇得碎打呀的，就加上公共个这了公共个的要是呢，什么来现在那边300有吧的，你个见见呢，另外个家伙见呢，现在那边家伙的，其实今年子这种啊这个，今年刚刚用啊，加上积的3单的，都心就接的，那什么咯，公共现在那边300。空头300，我这了的用过的，其实牛毛了的用过的，现在别肉这地方啊，这个。
To understand then the role that these afflicted minds play in causing suffering, well, there's an abundance of examples that we can see in this very life. So this mind of anger, the stronger this is, with any mind, the stronger it is within oneself, the more likely one is to act under the influence of that mind, whether it's virtuous or not virtuous, and the stronger the resulting action will be. So this is the case with all minds, and it's certainly the case with anger. So where people their minds are overwhelmed by anger, where the anger is strong, then this leads to them acting under this influence, under the influence of this mind, causing great harm to others. So if we think on perhaps a geopolitical scale, warfare that exists between nations, or civil war within nations, or acts of terrorism, these are all acts that have been motivated by a mind of anger. So it's through having very strong anger and hatred, then such activities appear as reasonable and justified to the perpetrator. And in a moment, through warfare, lives of so many beings are destroyed, and even those who aren't killed, their homes and their livelihood is lost. The ability of families to care for each other, to protect each other, is lost. The ability of communities to help each other is lost, just through moments of warfare, let alone when it rages for years. And similarly the case with terrorism, where we see many examples of that, whether in our own country or in the news, where people just in a moment, from either we've seen with shooting from a car or using a car as an instrument to kill, in no time at all can completely destroy lives. And all of this behavior doesn't happen causelessly. It's motivated by a mind, and in particular this mind of anger.
我的那些这个变作了吃过食物界的，说两位人的，说当年的菜呀，说了变作我吃了，的那个吃过食全部的吃过地方的，那这个可有的的那个什么当啊些，说个端到主要来吃过地方的，吃过这个这食吃那地方的这个可有个是说到是这加了这。蒙古可有主要的，的那个可有嘞，你们那什么可有女的，现在那个月呗，那好苦个那的来什么当下去，所个推荐主要的，所个变就要，的来吃过学期末的呢，吃过往学期末往给，的呢都是呢这个两个蒙古吃的，这个可有个了，做过学去，就中华出呀的，这里那是蒙古来，刚刚蒙古来的，那从那里个把定上这个的，西部的吃过了，就是加上做两个来把等里个，两个的开始进里个是古老的了呀，这里呀。变成了吃回当年的吃回吃过修学，吃过地修经济呢用过了，就是在于有特色的吃过了的内容就是吃上。
We start with the illustration of the mind of anger and the harm that comes from it, because this is so easy to see. And we use the illustration of warfare, because again it's easy to see. But we have experience of this in our own lives, and likewise with this mind of attachment. This mind of attachment or desire, it's easy to think that, oh, this isn't as bad. But again, when this mind is strong, when it's dominant, then it's much more likely one will act under it, and the resulting activity will be that much stronger. And if we want to be clear on the harm that comes from this mind of attachment or desire, we think of how leaders in society, perhaps in business leaders or political leaders, with a desire for profit, for wealth, for power, for influence, under this mind of desire, this mind of attachment for profit, wealth, and influence, have caused such great environmental damage. And this was perhaps done unknowingly initially, but that certainly isn't the case. But still, for this desire for profit, for power and influence, the environment continues to be destroyed. And in other circumstances, for example, when products are developed, but they are not, the effects of those products, perhaps chemicals or pharmaceuticals, are not adequately investigated, then harmful, unwanted results follow. Maybe unforeseen, but they are unforeseen because of the desire of attachment, so the mind of attachment, wanting profits, wanting power and influence. And similarly, we see this with an impact on through lobbying, where organizations try to limit the impact of laws which should protect society, all so that their business group can continue to make profits, continue to gain ever more wealth. So these are illustrations that through the afflicted mind of attachment, one brings great harm to others.
Semmakiwa kanga cheada kasore that luli nazada and diniki semmakiwa kanga chasa disu zewigi nyomo baletin ligore zuge pene ngazo kashi osne semmakiwa chaade kana chagore senangazu semmakiwa chaade kana chagudlamna du simju chena dinyelya sosugi deba chishore sosu deba de madubdu sosu dinga gogudu sempege chaparo che dinga di deba dugudu chapache chapa digi shugenjine deba de madubdu dene ya 강하시래 다야직 소소리야 직 deba meba 지금 거래 소수 삼로 나데 dinga 가부메 먹어 선배 디 삼바에 나신 먹어야지 소소리야 레어도 dene ya 강하시체 지산 두스는 아주기 셈기 강아체야다 두부도 심주 제바나 조딩한테 나로려 안지 직 착하게 착과직제 착과디 원게 미유 착과 된다마도데 강아체 야지 디딩아 고구메 델려 직 뜻 콩로로치다 미디베 나바르게도 디 마고에도 술레어도 야한테려 콩로 가서디 디딩에 셈려 강아체야 디차상한 쪽에 두 심지에는 낭 삼로를 셈을 때네 안에 이제 용고래
As was mentioned a few segments previously, all suffering in this world, whether physical or mental, comes about in dependence on causes and conditions. And if we analyze those causes and conditions, we're looking here right now at afflicted minds. It's from these afflicted minds that all physical suffering, such as illness, all mental suffering comes from. So let's think of our unhappy states. So when our mind is unhappy, whether it's at one end of the scale, such as depression, or whether just we're feeling a bit down or annoyed or frustrated, wherever within that, whenever our mind is not in a peaceful, calm, gentle state, but rather in an unhappy state, we need to investigate the cause that has led to this result. And our unhappiness has come about in dependence on a cause. And we need to identify that. And in general, when we when we look for the cause, the place to look is at our own desires, our own wishes, our own attachments not being fulfilled. So much of our mental unhappiness comes about in dependence on our desires not being fulfilled. Something that we long for not being fulfilled. A view, a wish of ours not being fulfilled. From this, varying degrees of unhappiness comes. Again, from slight frustration or annoyance to depression. And the companion to this cause that of our wishes not being fulfilled, is what we don't wish for, encountering that. So these are two which have a close relationship. Either what we wish for, not being fulfilled, or what we don't wish for, that being fulfilled. So this is where we meet undesired situations. We're in a situation we don't want to be in or with. We meet someone that we don't want to be with. And this then too leads to varying degrees of unhappiness. And from these situations very easily, from this our wishes not being fulfilled, or what we don't wish for, encountering, anger is very likely to arise, or the lesser degrees of frustration and annoyance. But we see this is how most of our mental unhappiness comes about. And certainly, and to give an illustration, if we meet someone who is angry with us, then this is an unwanted situation we have now encountered, and therefore we are likely to also respond with anger. So these two causes use to use first to identify the cause of our current, or whenever we are unhappy, use these two as a first point of reference.
Geshe Thubten Rabten, and the Tsongkhapa nalia pensu mitumba chaya dang, and the Sasa nalia mitumba chaya chu nyokta yongya dang, all these things the Jogo pensu nalia jik machamba mganga yongya de, chasang karidu simji jebena kariligosen, so samla dangjo tone li yongore, chasang Geshe Thubten mitumba chaya di, tubu ya maja mitumba ganga lia de, Geshe pensu gi samlo dangha ni di, samlo dewa mitumba chene, and di mitumba che ganga. And then Tsongkhapa in Sosugi Jikche or a DJ or said, Deva Matindu, and Ditone, some of the Sosu Deva, the Damdu, Shuksha Tadu, and Pinsu Midum Bachaya. And Sasani, Bene, Dampo Chumbu, Jik Sosugi, Lega de Deva Matin Bachado, Jigging Hedi, she said, she would Damdu, Jiggy, Hedi, she Damdu, Denigi, Sosu Rangi, Tawa, Damzin Jibik, Jinji, and the Jig Machambacha, Tupuche, Machamachata. Just Chasa do some Tavana, Chasa, Yora Yoso, Nang, Samlo than Ligo, Samlo Tone. Chasa Denigi, Hidi Tawa, the Yawas and Delia Chakwashuji, Medi Yawis, Chakwashuji, Damzinje. And the Pajo de la Curan de Mares at the Gunung, Pajo de Medi Tawa, the Yawis, Damzishuche, and Curan de Mares. Did the Nini Matin Mutumba Chagore. Deva Matundu, Dine Kat, Yora Chagore. Deva Tuna, Bene. Chawashu, Jabje Ganga, Yubikabline, and Bukashe, Zemaja, Chavik, Zemaja, oh, yes, and Devotuson, Chawakazi Gabne, go to back Yujan Zigor, or Devotu Gangayoma, Giwujan Zigor. Jisa, Chawakazina, Koran Zemaja, Devotusona, and then Giwuja. I didn't give you use and Tsai there. Chawa Jamo de Pazu, you the Ganga, Zubula Ganga Tedder, I got all the Hinky wish you Jones all over. She's also Deva, the Tundeva, the neck Chumbucha, me, Nanga, Jakapenzu in other, Tsongkhapa in other, me, Gerso, Sasa, Deva, so some of the Deva, the Tumbuju, Chumbucha, Deva, the Metin to Dijine Kahacha, Yorasha, Ganga, the nature, she's a two China, Shimju Jeva, so Chasa, now some law now live Chasa.
What's crucial to gain certainty of is that all problems and difficulties not only come about in dependence on causes and conditions, but those causes are our way of thinking. It's our way of thinking, not the event that is causing us problems. So the illustrations which can make it very clear is if it rains particularly hard. And usually we don't enjoy it when it's raining hard. But some kids, they think that's fantastic. I can go play in the rain and splash around in the mud, and they will have a great time. They may come into the house a bit filthy, but they've had a fun time in the rain. So they are enjoying themselves very much. Others not so. The situation's the same. It's how one thinks about it. Similarly, in the blazing heat of summer, one can either be complaining because it is so hot and one has no energy, Or again, children will probably see, oh, today's hot, how fantastic, I'm going swimming. And they will have a fantastic day in the summer's heat. So the event's no different, but the way of relating to it is, and therefore our mental state is very different. So those illustrations are easy to understand, and we need to take that and think about situations in our own lives and what we observe in the world. And we think of contexts of those in business, or the relationships between nations, or within families, or between friends. Whenever there are problems between nations, or a family and friends, or within business, this comes about due to the ways of thinking. And invariably it comes down to people not being in harmony. So whilst, if there is conflict between nations, then this comes down to those leaders not being in harmony, because of not being in harmony, their problems cannot be resolved. This is the case also in business, in family and friends, because where we see that others are getting in the way of our desires, that is when we become unhappy and we act in a way that causes disharmony, that brings about problems to others. So in the business perspective, when others are getting in the way of our profit, then this causes us to act in a way that brings harm to others. Or in terms of if our prestige, our reputation is being damaged by others, this too then leads to us acting in a way that brings harm. Where we also see this in society, and we all have experience, is where we have a particular a philosophical view, and we hold to this, we believe in this. So this we can think of in the political environment or a social environment. We have views which are very heartfelt to us. So we can think of whether they are gender-based or race-based or to do with economics. We have views which we believe very strongly in. And when others have an opposing view, we look at our reaction and we see independence on our view being challenged, our view not being accepted, the strong emotion arising. Any mental peace that we had being lost. Seeing others, whether we are in the same family or the same community, we now perceive them in a very harsh light. All this comes about due to a way of thinking that is not skillful, a way of thinking that is mistaken.
Zawiki dazen marikpa se denze marikpa se de ligores denze marikpa se de ganishik lagores chegi ngui nesu hamoho wa ani dele rangle ngui nesu di che tamje shenji le dene ju kanglai ma de ba de yo ma le che tamje dene ju ba de wa jisan dan marikpa de garjin marikpa de la lo de la karanang go se che ganishin da kanglai ma de rang ngui ne ju ba na de go re rang ngui de ju ba na wa na shin Diresha some zimbigi, danga, dene zimba de la marikpa se urwa, marikpa, denzi marikpa se urwa. Chisan di ko lodi mahimba korale, mahimba che nanga che, nawa nashi koran zimba rwa. Zimba enza lo koro nochu chadere. Chisan koi ngui chigi, ngui nisui di tunguwa mari, marikpa se ne hamoho wala gore, mi mebada chigba rewa, dene zinduwa. Chisan dene ge zimba dela dene nga zulia, dea cha, dea kondro kia, nga kia, chasan dela dene li gore. Di zimbi ge nga rashi juba zimba di meba soba ina, ane dea sha kondro nga kia yonga yonga re. Da dea sha kondro nga kia yonga mena, Döşe onge şenle nöbe kiye yungo mar, kontrol onge şenle nöbe kiye yungo mar, çin şenle nöbe yungo mar, çin şenle nöbe ban şenle kanga tigi mar, ne rahanle kanga raşen igala kanga meba çar. Çin di kanga de sigore, çin. Dene insan anzo kanga yonse ki zawa di dasen mark ba se achi. O deletin ligore çin. Çin dene insan anzo ki da 강아 세에들이야 가르 매바서 다시 되샤 콘도 뇽모 매바서 그래 지단 니유 자위 다시 말이 받 매바서 그래서 니시 그래다네
그래서 되게 그냥 직항 니파 식빙배
지라메데 랍기로와다 에데디네 로션들이 뒤에 자와 말이 빠세지로와 지단 예수기 뇽모 받게 제위 유 동아에서 유조와도 뇽모 발리 그래 뒤에 뇽모 받뒤디 자와 말이 받들이 그래서 뒤에 자와 말이 뒤에 세지 말이 받들이 그래서
So we've spoken about the need to come to understand suffering and how it pervades our experiences on coarse and subtle levels, and that the suffering only comes about in dependence on causes and conditions. And those causes are primarily karma and afflicted emotions. And these afflicted emotions, these afflicted minds, there's a vast array, and we've spoken about anger and attachment, and there's also ignorance and jealousy and pride and so forth. So all of these afflicted minds which lead to our suffering, these have one root cause. And that root cause is identified in the second line here. Have ignorance as the root cause. So whatever problems there are in the world, have ignorance as their root. So what is meant by ignorance? So in general, ignorance is a not knowing or a confusion. So that would be what is generally meant by ignorance, and there are many kinds of ignorance. But here, when we're talking about the root cause of all problems in the world, we're referring to one particular type of ignorance. And this is the ignorance of self-grasping, or it can be called the ignorance of true grasping. So these are just synonyms, the ignorance of self-grasping, the ignorance of true grasping. So what does this term mean? In brief, it means that one is ignorant about the actual reality of phenomena. One is ignorant about the actual reality of phenomena. So what is phenomena? So phenomena, a synonym for phenomena is an existence, or anything that exists. So that can be something out in the external world, but it also refers to our inner world, such as our various minds. So mind of anger, mind of attachment, these are all existence, they're all phenomena. So phenomena has a very broad meaning, it's anything that exists. So ignorance is a mind, and it relates to everything, to all existent phenomena. What one is ignorant about is phenomena, whether phenomena is something external or internal, such as other minds, or our sense of self. Whatever phenomenon one is thinking of appears to the mind. Whatever phenomena, so if we're thinking about the self, we're thinking about a mind, we're investigating the mind, or we're thinking about something external, that appears to the mind. Then the problem with ignorance is that the way that the phenomenon appears, the mind of ignorance believes that the phenomenon exists exactly as it appears. It believes that this appearance is unmistaken. So we have here the term is ignorance of self-grasping or ignorance of true grasping. This is the root of all suffering. So the mind of the verb of grasping is what the mind of ignorance does. The mind of ignorance grasps at the phenomenon as existing in the way that it appears. Or instead of grasping, we could say believing. It believes that the phenomenon exists in the way that it appears. But grasping shows the strength, so it's holding on to this belief that the phenomenon exists in the way that it appears. And therefore, this mind of ignorance believes that what appears is true. So therefore it's called the ignorance of true grasping. It believes that what appears to it is true. It's in accordance with reality. What appears is correct. And then from this mind of ignorance, which is actually mistaken in that phenomena do not exist in the way that they appear, but it believes that this appearance is unmistaken, from this comes attachment, comes anger, and all the other afflictions. There is this stream of dependency, that independence on this mind of ignorance, which believes that phenomena exist exactly, precisely as it appears, in dependence on that comes anger, comes attachment, comes pride.
다신 가사 다신 말이 받는 리그업에 디 가시 통화 되는 게 받도 통화래스 다스 때마상이 점nen디기 되네 통제 대체상 강아리에 차상 되는 리그어래스 지상 디인자 디도고래서 디도바 디메바쇼고래스 다 다신 된지 가사 다도 된진 디 메바디 아니 가는 수고래 람나 다 제바지 띵진 저와 중화 삼다제 띵진 저와 중에 삼다도 라신이마 가사 덴바마투보 토픽이 로티게 가사 덴바마투보 토픽 로티 곰발레 때네 아니 가수레 가사 덴바도 딘신디 가두그레스 지선다 가사 덴바마투보 또 고고 딘또 로디 고고레 지선 또야라 아니 가르스 공고 탑시 가르다 모르스 띵진 저와 중에 삼다제 아니 가사 덴바마투보 또 고레스 네 또네 덴바마투보 또 로디 곰발레 때네 아니 다세 마리바데 가투레스 데네 인자 사유 점nen디기 나들야 다세뇨 동아 타지 중에기 유조 덴진 마리바사 가사 다도 주베 다세 마리바디 방고레스 디바라 동인도 별로디 공고레스 지난디 동인도 별로 공발라다 동인도 호라 동인도 별로 개호라 또 호라 데네 또 발라 띵진 저와 중화 삼다제 또 호레스 데네자 디토에 탑려야 두치네 탑람 띵진 저와 저 송화레스
When one needs to come to understand this process of dependency, understand the role that this root cause plays. So one needs to come to understand this with great clarity. And in dependence on this certainty that it's this ignorance of self-grasping that leads to all our suffering, in dependence on that, the wish will arise to find out how to eliminate this cause of our suffering, to be freed of the cause of all our suffering, and thereby never to suffer again. And this then brings us to the next two lines. You taught dependence arising, the seeing of which refutes ignorance. So having identified the ignorance of self-grasping and having meditated on it a lot so that one understands clearly with certainty that this is the cause of our suffering, then the Buddha, who not only taught that the ignorance is the cause of our suffering, the Buddha also taught the method to eliminate it, that it can be destroyed and how to do so. So the mind of ignorance of self-grasping is the root cause of all our suffering. To destroy that, one needs to cultivate an opposing mind, a mind that is completely the opposite to that. In dependence on developing a cause that is the antidote to the cause of our suffering, we can destroy the cause of our suffering. And what is a mind that's completely contrary to ignorance? It's a mind of wisdom. So there are many kinds of wisdoms, and there are many kinds of ignorance. But just like we talk about one type of, a specific type of ignorance, here one refers to a specific type of wisdom. And this is a wisdom that realizes the actual way that phenomena exist, whereas the ignorance is mistaken, is wrong about how phenomena exist. And this wisdom, if it is developed, it completely eradicates the ignorance. So how does one go about doing so? Through meditating on the presentation of dependence arising. Through coming to understand in ever finer detail how phenomena truly exist, through coming to understand dependence arising in all its subtleties, one strengthens one's wisdom. And in dependence on this wisdom, one completely eliminates ignorance. So this too was taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, and that's who this verse refers to here with you. So you, Buddha Shakyamuni, taught dependence arising, the seeing or the realizing of which refutes ignorance.
samlo di gyuwa tanya liya, anzo samlo tanya je gyuwa tanya mado, ane anzo samlo gyuwa tanya yabu suya di samlo tanya gyuwa tanya kores, mado samlo tanya mado shen gyuwa tanya tuya mere. Pena anzo ka subu rochi na, je chakpo da zadi yu kumdo we na, subu korang la luzi ze che, ane subu nyebu suya korwa. Jeza samlo tanya ya ji subu di jela kugya matana, subu nyebu chaya skaya marwa. Jeza di na shi su korang la nyebu suya da che, subu korang be suya tanya che, luzi che de suya ba na shi, nga su samlo diye, samlo ngamba da dukja digi meba suya la, samlo sangbo shi samlo tanya che, samlo yakbo de su kye chu che, di gom che, gane ya no gom che, ane dele nuba cher tanya du, samlo ngamba di rangshu yu nuba chung chu gore. Jeza nga su samlo ngamba digi due cha chung tanya, kondro chung tanya, ane jig dade dasin se de marikpa su chung tanya digi, nga su liya samlo di dojo due pene kondro ro ma sona kondro chung tanya la ya, nga su samlo khara tanya jamzi ye samlo ya, shen le jamba da ziwe samlo di kasi shu che tangwe ne, shen le nube samba da kondro samba di shu chung shu rubo re. Jeza shen le nube samba da kondro samba di kasi shu che we na, shen le jamzi samba di shu chung rubo re. Konyi da di re, ka so re, jik dokzo cha go ro. Di na xin, tanga zuki kondro tanga, shen le nube samba di meba suya la, men sa xe meba suya ma re, lu ze ze xe meba suya tuya yo ma re, benjo sa xe meba suya tuya yo ma re, anu tim da xe meba suya tuya yo ma re, da kar suya go se nanglo samlo ge, so suya samlo gyuwa de jamzi ki nyamlen che, di jamzi ki nyamlen che yo du, ane shen le nube samba di, ane shuk chung chuk tu go re. Che zang, nga zuki samlo no chui di, nālo samlo ki tōne gyuwa tāngche gōm che ne gyuwa tāng kōkō. Tēne yinzā, dādu chūpa jime dāsin mēba suya la, dā mēbi ki samlo tāngche dī klo di gōm che mēba suya mā tō shen suya tuya mēba re.
Hopefully in this presentation thus far, it's been clear that the cause of all our suffering, all our anguish, comes about independence on our way of thinking. When the mind of attachment arises, we are suffering. When desire or attachment arises in us, we are suffering. Likewise with pride and jealousy, ignorance, all of these afflicted minds only cause suffering and pain. And that's just their mere arising. When we act out under the influence, our suffering increases and we bring suffering into the lives of others too. So as the cause of all our suffering is our way of thinking, these afflicted minds, the solution to this, the way to resolve this, is through changing our way of thinking. That is the only solution, to no longer be angry or have attachment or pride. We can't rely on any material object. We can't go into the shop and buy something to completely eliminate our anger or our attachment. And we can't even rely on the government to pass a law. There's no way other than changing our way of thinking that we can gain freedom from anger and attachment and jealousy and pride and so forth. And the way to gain freedom from these afflicted minds is to develop minds that are completely the opposite to them. So one that's easier to understand is a mind that is opposite to anger is a mind of love. If a mind of love is strong and dominant within one's not going to get angry. The stronger the love is within us, the weaker the anger is within us. The less likely anger is to arise, and the weaker it will be when it does. So there's a scale, we can understand this through thinking of a scale. The stronger the virtuous mind in this illustration of love is, then proportionately the weaker the mind of anger is. And so this process here of changing, or the need to change our mind, we can also understand it through our everyday life. If one wants to get fit, then the way to get fit is to train our bodies. Merely developing the wish or changing our diet, these things help, but the primary thing we have to do is train our body. That's how we get fit. So similarly, if we identify with clarity that it's our way of thinking that causes us suffering, then that is what we need to change. And when we have identified, investigated further, and we've gained certainty that it's ignorance, the ignorance of self-grasping, that leads to all the afflictions such as anger and attachment. We all know that that is what we need to destroy. And then, through engaging in meditation repeatedly over a sustained period, slowly this mind of wisdom starts to grow in strength. And then, with the analogy of scales, as the wisdom grows in strength, our currently very strong ignorance, this weakens. And as our mind of ignorance weakens in dependence on the growing mind of wisdom, the various afflictions that come from the ignorance, these too weaken. And then slowly, as we continue to meditate over time, our wisdom grows, our ignorance decreases, and our afflictions become less frequent, less dominant, and when they do arise, are much weaker and much easier to transform. So this process of dependency continues here, through cultivating our wisdom repeatedly over a sustained period. All these minds which cause so much suffering and pain to us and to others, they proportionately weaken.
Chazan Yansaki Zawa se Dazin Marikpa Sigura, Dazin Marikpa le Da said, as a Gaza, Singha, Chazan de Ganlaya Matuba, Gudan, Kin, Chashe, Gala, Matuba, Ranguini, Druba Ruchik, and Zingore, Nazole, the Nangore, now Nashin dinner, Sambi, Zimbi, Zimbati, Nanzukula Yore, then Anzuki, Haku, Marimato, Dinik Zimbachioda, Dinik Zimbatilla, Dazin Maripa Sigorda. La dini enzada dinigi dazin di zimba na shinga sayati gyudan kien chashe khanla rang monye tuba chi zimba na shi ji nduge mindu sayati ta anzu cheba chia da chagora ta dinigi cheba chia da andu score de anzu nyongwa jablo shue che ro da dinire dini enzada anzu ge dire dini enzada nga anzu chasa khala sa ji dibara lele para telia nsusuge sosorana something nga sayati nga khala sa nga de lele chigye se nga se yorwada ji nyele ya nga sayati ji kanesi nangdu somjinga lolya kanesi nangdu sombe samlo sta de wada kanesi nangdu na de subudi nalo diwada subuda chikdawuri nangdu subudi lord subudi maiba loso subudi dan jawa mediga nangdu kanesi nangdu sidinga zugde ya nana de ya hyonzi nga zu chi samlo chi ta de wa dini nga zu ni mo jablo di ko ya ja je shu shu ro.
Having identified that our suffering comes from our afflicted minds, and that these afflicted minds come from a root cause that is the ignorance of self-grasping, then this ignorance of self-grasping needs to be eliminated, but in order to eliminate it, we need to understand what this is. Because invariably, this is something we never think about. We're not even aware that we have this ignorance that grasps at the self as existing in the way that it appears. This is not something that generally we talk about or think about, but that is the root cause of all our suffering. This mind of ignorance that believes that our sense of self-identity, or the way that the self appears to us, that exists in this way. So we need to investigate to see, firstly, how the self appears, and then secondly, if the way that it appears is how it exists or not. So this afternoon, we will talk through this meditation in some detail, but now it's time to have lunch, hopefully a delicious lunch. So in preparation for this afternoon's talk, then whilst you're walking from here to where we have lunch, then be aware, I'm walking somewhere. So with the sense of self that we have, where is this? What is it based on? When we're sitting at lunch, and then we're eating our lunch, and think there's a sense of self, the self that's sitting here, the self that is eating this food. How does this appear to us? Or if we're hopefully enjoying the lunch, then think the self that is enjoying the lunch. How does it appear to me? What is this self? Is it my physical body that I'm identifying as the self that is walking, or that is sitting, or is eating, or is enjoying the food? Or is it a mind, and if so, what kind of mind, or which mind? So between now and our next class, then if you can give some analysis to this, then you've done your preparation for our talk this afternoon. Then thank you very much. Thank you.